Trans wizard Harriet Porber is a master spellsmith who's found herself in a bit of a pickle. After finishing wizard college, Harriet made a name for herself by creating a hit viral spell, but has since failed to craft a follow-up. Now Harriet's agent, Minerva, is breathing down her neck, suggesting that Harriet take a trip to an island off the coast of England for inspiration. Hoping for some peace and quiet to clear her head, Harriet Porber arrives to find that her new neighbor, an angsty bard named Snape from the band 7-Inch Nails, is already there making a racket. This Parasaurophalus spellcaster is a bad boy through and through, and with his incredible powers of meta magic, Snape reveals that this layer of reality is much more than it seems. Could Harriet and Snape really be characters in a parody romance novel? Soon enough, these two are discovering they have more similarities than differences. Both trans, both strong, and both hoping to create a new spell that will change the world. But with the addition of two devious sentient motorcycles to the mix, Bellatrix and Braco, things start to get complicated. Now trans wizard Harriet Porber is caught up in a tale of magic and mystery where nothing is as it seems, except for one universal truth. Love is real. Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. In today's review, I will be presenting an ironic homage to someone with an upcoming birthday. Or to be more specific, I am going to review trans wizard Harriet Porber and the bad boy Parasaurophalus by internet-based erotica humorist, as well as two-time Hugo Award finalist Chuck Tingle. Yes, really, I am reviewing a Chuck Tingle book. The TLDW for this review is, this book is good. Like, it's perhaps not amazing, but it's good. Like, it is at times cringy, but it is at times mind-blowing. It is often funny, and sometimes it is genuinely heartfelt. This book has a lot more than than its description and its author's reputation has to offer, and it is a definitive, engaging thrill ride. If you're in the market for a parody romance, then I very much suggest, and I can wholeheartedly recommend that you get this book. For those of you who are a little bit more skeptical about my claim to quality, especially when it comes to something by the guy who wrote recursive sequels to Pounded in a Butt by My Own Butt, well, the rest of this video should alleviate your concerns. The plot of this book follows Harriet Porber, a wizard who is in something of a creative slump after the runaway success of her first spell. At the behest of her agent, Harriet travels to an island resort somewhere off the English coast, hoping to find the environment and solitude that would fuel her creativity. What she finds there instead is a very loud and very raucous neighbor, the dinosaur bard known as Snape Resmore. You have 3 guesses as to who he's based on, and the first 2 don't count. While their initial interactions are somewhat antagonistic, over time, as they learn they have certain similarities and similar interests, they actually start to bond and end up finding out a lot more about themselves as well within that process. It could be argued that it is actually only Harriet that goes through that character development, because Snape, to some extent, already knows what's going on with him and is just going through the motions in order to get to his next stage in character development. But that's something I won't go into right now because spoilers. What I can go into is saying that I have some issues with this plot. Namely, due to the fact that it is a parody of the bad boy romance, it unfortunately falls into some of the same plotting and pacing pitfalls that particular romance subgenre has, particularly when it comes to miscommunications and the sudden escalation of the threat. If you've if you've known me for any amount of time, you'll know that that is not something I typically enjoy. In fact, it's something I always comment upon because I always find it to be to some extent disruptive, and I don't find that it actually uh, improves or enhances my reading experience. You could argue within this book that it actually makes sense for for the characters to to behave that way, not just because of they are written that way, but more because this is what is to be expected. That is the joke, and they're just following along with it. But I can still say that it didn't really have the effect it was supposed to have on me. So for that reason, I still have to comment upon the plot. Um, and regardless, even though the plot is a little bit more hit and miss than I would like, other aspects of the book do a lot to garner and hold my attention. The world building, for instance, it is quite minimal, but it is very elegantly presented and integrated into the actual story. There are, as you might expect, several references to you know what, and these references are pretty much always used either for the sake of humor, and they are always used quite well when they are when they are used as such, or they are used to expand certain biographical or background details about the characters, which I have to say I found very interesting to follow. Another thing that I want to comment upon is how the book handles its magic system, because there are several ways in which magic can be cast, and each of these ways has different manifestations, different attributes you might call, or different intrinsic characteristics, and they cause different effects within the people who are exposed to it. Given that the two leads of this book, given that the leads of this book are both magic users, that is perhaps to be expected. However, this book goes one step beyond that, and it actually explores how the ways their magic interacts actually allows them to uh, develop as characters. It could be argued that it is actually only Harriet that develops because again, Snape has some attributes that make him make him a little bit more aware of his condition within this book, so to speak. But still, even just looking at her, there is actually a lot to be said. Uh, for example, there is a point where there are several points where she is exposed to the effects of Snape's magic, and through those exposures to his magic, she ends up having a greater understanding of the world within which she exists, the weight of her actions within the world, and therefore her value within that world. That is something that was very enlightening, very interesting to observe, and those are the parts of the book that I really describe as mind blowing. The parts where the author manages to take aspects from his book's world and use them to make a greater statement about his world, or rather the world of the world of the readers, which yeah is pretty great to behold. When it comes to other characters, however, I have to say that Tingle doesn't really give them the same time of day or the same amount of attention. There is a little bit of a variety to their appearances, given this is the Tingleverse, and they do fulfill the roles they are assigned within the story quite well. However, they really don't grow. They really don't grow much beyond beyond those roles. They are just there to fulfill a task, and once they have fulfilled that task, that is, they no longer develop or they no longer develop or change or really much of anything. So while I will say they are while I will say they are interesting within the roles they are given, they do not develop beyond those roles. Overall, while I find some aspects of this book to fall a little short, the total package is something that I would definitely consider worth praising and remembering. My final rating for Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and the Bad Boy Parasaurophalus is a 4 out of 5. And that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please leave a like, maybe even share this video wherever you think other people will like it as well. If you have anything you'd like to add to this discussion, or to the video, either to the review or to the book itself, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. Ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My own book, Heir to the Empire, the Next Generation, is available at most major book retailers under a master link in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out, should you choose to. I can't remember if I told you to like this video and share it, because I pretty much say these things on autopilot, but if I haven't, well, this is your second reminder. Or your first reminder. Fucking scrambled. Anyway, as I said, I also have the book in the description, or a master link to the book, to my book in my description. You'll also find my social media listed down there, and you'll also find my Patreon listed down there, in case you want to support me more directly and receive perks such as early access to videos and scripts, both for this channel and my second one. Until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.